The cassette that recorded tomorrow. The cassette was already recording when I found it. That was impossible for 3 reasons. 1, it was sitting in a locked glass case at the back of my thrift shop. 2, the tape deck beside it had no batteries and no power cord. 3, the voice coming through the tiny speaker was mine. "Don't sell the blue radio," it said. Then came the sound of breaking glass. I stood there with the shop keys in my hand, listening to myself breathe from a machine that had been dead since before I bought the building. My name is Simon Firth. I repair old audio equipment in a town where people bring me things they should have thrown away 30 years ago. Reel-to-reels, dictaphones, wedding tapes, answering machines with one message left on them. I don't ask why they keep those messages. I know why. My wife's voice lived on a microcassette in my desk for 5 years after she died. 8 seconds of her saying, "Simon, buy milk and don't forget you promised to fix the porch light." I never fixed the porch light. Grief makes museums out of junk drawers. The cassette in the case had no label, just a strip of masking tape with one word written in faded pencil. Tomorrow. I unlocked the case, lifted the tape deck and turned it over. No brand, no screws, no battery compartment. The plastic felt warm as if someone had been holding it. The speaker crackled again. My voice said, "Mrs. Alvarez comes in at 9:14. She asks about the blue radio. Don't sell it." I looked at the clock. 8:57 in the morning. At 9:14, Mrs. Alvarez came in wearing her church coat and carrying exact change in a white envelope. "Morning, Simon," she said. "Is that little blue radio still here?" I looked at the shelf. There it was, a chipped portable from the 70s, sky blue, missing one antenna tip. "Not for sale," I said. Her face fell so quickly I almost gave it to her for free. "It was my brother's model," she said. "I thought—" Behind us, on the sidewalk, a delivery truck jumped the curb. It hit the parking meter outside my window hard enough to throw coins across the shop like hail. The blue radio sat exactly where Mrs. Alvarez would have been standing if I had gone to get it. She covered her mouth. The glass did not break. Not then. The sound from the tape had changed. That night I stayed after closing and listened until my ears hurt. The cassette did not play music. It recorded tomorrow morning, but only the first hour after I opened the shop. Footsteps, doorbell, my own voice. Small disasters before they happened. If I did nothing, the sounds came true. If I acted, they changed. At first, it felt like mercy. I moved a ladder before it fell on a boy. I unplugged a toaster before the cord sparked. I told Mr. Jane to call his daughter before the argument he was going to have with her turned into 6 months of silence. The cassette caught little fractures before they became breaks. Then I discovered the red button. It was hidden under the tape door, small as a pinhead. When I pressed it, the recorded sound dipped, warped, and vanished. The next morning, the vanished sound did not happen. Not altered. Gone. The first thing I erased was a scream. I did not know whose. The tape caught it at 10:03, sharp and close, followed by tires and a wet thud. I sat shaking in the repair chair for 20 minutes, then pressed the red button until the magnetic hiss went smooth. The next day, no one screamed. No tires, no thud. At 10:03, the street outside went silent. Not quiet. Silent. A whole minute with no birds, no engines, no cash register hum, no breath in my own chest that I could hear. Then sound returned and everyone carried on. Everyone except Mr. Bell, who owned the bakery 2 doors down. He stood on the sidewalk looking at the empty curb. "I came out here for something," he said. "I can't remember what." There was flour on his hands and terror in his eyes. I should have stopped. Instead, I became careful. That is what people call obsession when it still works. I erased a cough that would have revealed Mrs. Danner's cancer to her daughter during a fight. I erased the shatter of a mug before it cut a child's foot. I erased my own voice saying something cruel to a customer who didn't deserve it. Each time, tomorrow got smoother. Each time someone lost a small piece of the day around the missing sound. A sentence forgotten. A reason misplaced. A name slow to arrive. Then, on the fifth night, the cassette recorded my wife. Not the old micro-cassette, not the milk message. Her voice came through the dead speaker, tired and alive and standing somewhere near the shop door. "Simon," she said, "don't press it." I dropped the tape deck. It kept playing from the floor. "Tomorrow at 9:38, she said. "A girl will bring in a box of tapes. Her mother died last week. Let her hear the ugly one." Then my own voice, older by a day, said, "I can spare her that." My wife said, "No, you can't." All night I sat with the red button under my thumb. You have to understand what grief does to a man who fixes machines. It makes every loss look like a repair problem with one missing part. If I could erase a scream, why not erase a daughter's pain? If pain could be removed before it happened, what kind of monster lets it play? At 9:38, the girl came in. She was maybe 20, with rain in her hair and a cardboard shoebox held against her chest. "Do you convert tapes?" she asked. "Sometimes. My mom made these when she was sick. I listened to most of them." She swallowed. "There's one I can't." The tape was labeled "For Mara, When You Hate Me." The girl saw me read it. "She left when I was 9, she said. Came back when the cancer did. Everyone keeps telling me to remember the good parts." From under the counter, Tomorrow hissed. I knew what was on the tape before I played it. Not the words, the shape. An apology that would not be enough. An explanation that would make the mother smaller and more human, which is sometimes worse than making someone a villain. The girl's hands shook. "Can you make a copy?" she asked. Without listening? I almost said yes. Then the dead deck whispered in my wife's voice, "Let it hurt clean." So I played it. The mother on the tape did not ask for forgiveness. She told the truth badly, with pauses and self-defense and shame. She said she had been afraid of becoming her own mother. She said leaving had been cowardice dressed up as mercy. She said Mara owed her nothing. The girl cried with her mouth closed. I did not touch the red button. When the tape ended, the shop was full of ordinary sound. Rain, fluorescent hum. A bus kneeling at the curb. Mara wiped her face. "I still hate her," she said, "I know. But now I know what I hate." That was the thing I had been stealing from people, not pain, edges, the shape of what happened. That evening I took Tomorrow into the alley behind the shop and smashed it with a hammer. The plastic cracked. The reels spilled brown tape into the rain. For a moment I heard every sound I had erased at once. A scream, a mug breaking, my cruel sentence, a daughter's first sob, then my wife's 8-second message, not from the desk drawer but from everywhere. "Simon, buy milk and don't forget you promised to fix the porch light." The next morning I fixed it. Nothing magical happened, no voice, no sign. Just a bulb turning on over a door I had avoided for 5 years. Sometimes people still bring me tapes they are afraid to hear. I play them. I sit with them if they ask. I do not edit the ugly parts. And every now and then, when the shop is empty, one of the blank cassettes in the bargain bin clicks by itself. Just once. Record, then stop.